Got it. I'll keep it tighter this time. My brother still thinks our stepdad molested me. He brings it up every Christmas like some sacred trauma we share. I let him. We'll be at Mom's tiny apartment, dry turkey, cheap wine, some Netflix crap playing in the background, and he'll start talking about what we went through. Mom pretends to need something from the kitchen. I just sit there and let them orbit around this lie I built. Nothing happened. That's the fucked up part. The man was just strict. Took my phone, grounded me, called me lazy when I acted lazy. He cared about grades, bedtime, chores, all the boring parent stuff. He wasn't warm, but he never crept on me. I hated him anyway. He wasn't my dad. That was enough. My real dad texted sometimes, sent money twice a year, and somehow still got to be the fun parent. This guy moved in, and suddenly the Wi-Fi had limits, the kitchen had a schedule, and I had a curfew. The night it all broke, we didn't have some big dramatic scene. I just wanted to go to a party. I'd already lied to Mom, picked out my outfit, told my friends I was coming. Then my report card showed up. 2 Fs. He sat at the table with the paper and said, "You're not going anywhere this weekend." Just like that. I lost it. I screamed, called him a fucking asshole, said nobody wanted him there, that he wasn't my real dad and never would be. Mom tried to calm me down, but I pushed past her and went for the door. I yanked it open and he grabbed my wrist. That was it. No slap, no schab, just a firm grip and stop. My brain twisted it instantly. I felt trapped, humiliated, small. I ripped my hand away and locked myself in my room. I lay there shaking, not from fear of him, but rage that he could just block me like that and win. I wanted him gone, completely gone. That night I scrolled, couldn't sit still. I ended up on our /confession, then Survivor subs. I'd lurked there before. I knew the language people used when they finally told someone. The way they paused, the exact phrases, inappropriate touching. I froze. I didn't want to ruin the family. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, a thought dropped in. If I said he touched me, he'd be out of the house. No more curfew. No more lectures. No more feeling like some stranger control my life. I knew it was wrong. My body still knew it when my brain tried to justify it. But the idea sat there and grew teeth. The next day at school, I walked straight into the counselor's office. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear her. She asked what was wrong. I stared at the floor and said, "My stepdad, he's been touching me." I had the story ready. I'd stitched it from other people's pain. A hand on my thigh while we watched TV. A massage that went too low. Little comments about my body. None of it real. I said it anyway, voice shaking, hands over my face. She believed me. Immediately. Of course she did. By the end of the day, there were administrators, a social worker, a cop. They took my statement 3 times. Each time it came out smoother. I hated myself more every round, but I kept going. I watched their faces harden. I saw how easy it was to move a whole room with words. Mom came in. They told her. She collapsed. I'd never seen her body just stop like that. She cried so hard she puked in the office trash can. She hugged me like I'd survived a car crash. I almost confessed right there, but my mouth stayed shut. Once it starts rolling, you can't just yell, "Never mind." We didn't go home that night. CPS sent us to my aunt's. On the way there, we drove past the house. 2 cop cars outside. Neighbors on porches acting casual. They let him out in handcuffs. He looked confused more than anything. Not angry. Not guilty. Just lost. He found my eyes. Didn't say a word, just stared at me like he didn't recognize me. That look burned. It still shows up when I close my eyes. The next week was a blur. Cops, caseworkers, forms, questions. I was suddenly the girl from that thing. Teachers gave me extensions, extra time, softer voices. Friends DM nonstop. "You're so brave. I'm so proud of you." I soaked it up and choked on it at the same time. The case dragged on for months. No physical evidence, no witnesses, just me versus him. But that's enough to wreck someone's life, even without a conviction. He lost his job, pending investigation. His brother stopped inviting him to family stuff just in case. People talked. You can feel it even when you don't hear it. At home, Nothing fixed. Mom kept saying, "I believe you," like she was begging herself to keep believing. She slept on the couch for weeks, jumped at every sound. Sometimes I'd catch her scrolling his old photos, crying quietly. She'd wipe her face when she saw me and double down on being supportive. The case finally collapsed. Not because someone found proof he was innocent, just because they didn't have enough to move forward. "We can't proceed at this time," is what they said. That doesn't clean anything. It just leaves a stain nobody can wash. He didn't move back in. Mom said she couldn't after everything. They tried counseling. It failed. She filed for divorce. My brother built a whole identity on it. He tells the story at parties, online, in group chats. Our stepdad groomed my sister. We were trapped with an abuser. His eyes go dark when he talks about it. People pat his shoulder, tell him he's strong for standing by me. He runs an account where he posts about trauma and recovery. He rants about monsters who hide behind the word stepdad. His followers eat it up. Sometimes I type out the truth in a notes app. He never touched me. I lied because I wanted him gone. I stare at it, feel my stomach drop, then delete it. If I say it out loud, I don't just ruin my own name. I hand ammo to every asshole who thinks all victims are liars. I blow up my mother's life again. I confirm every doubt my stepdad's family ever had. And what do I even do with him, the actual man I destroyed? Call and say, "My bad." There's no apology big enough to crawl through what I did. So I sit in it. I play the survivor when I have to. I avoid mirrors on the days my brother posts something new and tags me like we're war buddies. My brother still posts about our abuser online. I still upvote him with my alt. Our HR lady calls me the guy who fixed her laptop. If she knew what I kept from that night, she'd claw my eyes out. She never remembers my name. I'm IT, tech guy, hero when the printer jams before payroll. She pats my arm like I'm a vending machine that just dropped her candy. I leaned into it. The invisible guy, the one nobody really looks at. When people think you're harmless, they leave doors open. Her Outlook kept crashing every time she attached a file. She'd slam her mouse, swear under her breath, then yell my way like I'm voice activated. That afternoon, she cornered me by the coffee machine, said her whole world sat in that laptop, begged me not to wipe anything. I joked about a gentle surgery. She laughed, and that's how I ended up at her desk after hours. The office looks different at night. Cubicles turn into little islands of light in a black sea. Cleaning staff, I'm down the hall, vacuum screaming on and off. She stayed late with me, perched on the visitor chair, shoes off, nylons torn at the ankle, talking nonstop on speakerphone with her sister while I worked. She vented about her husband, about how he shuts down and stonewalls. I pretended to tune it out and clicked around like a good tech monkey. I already had the keylogger on a tiny USB. Not some Hollywood spyware, just a $30 thing that grabs keystrokes and emails them out. I'd used it once before on a shared kiosk to prove a security point, then never uninstalled it. The fact I still carried it around should have told me something about myself. While her back turned and she rummaged for gum, I slipped it in, ran the tiny installer I'd renamed driverupdate.exe. 30 seconds. No drama. Green checkmark. Done. I told her Outlook needed a clean reinstall, so I wiped and rebuilt, all nice and legit. She thanked me like I'd save her life. I walked out that night with her passwords already queued up in my inbox. At first it was curiosity. That's what I still tell myself, like that makes it smaller. The email came in around midnight, a plain text list of everything she typed. I sat there in bed, room lit by my monitor, listening to my fridge knock in the kitchenette, and I started piecing her life together. Login here, password there. Bank, work, Gmail. I picked Gmail because it felt less evil than her bank. Like I was choosing the good crime. Her private mail was a mess. Shopping receipts, PDA chain letters, those stupid inspirational quotes. Then I found the drafts. Piles of them. Stuff she'd written, rewritten, never sent. Rants to her husband. Long paragraphs starting with "I feel like," and "I can't keep doing this." Screenshots of her /relationships posts she almost wrote. Titles like "Is my marriage actually over?" and "Husband doesn't touch me anymore. Is this normal?" She never posted them, just kept them like emotional landmines. I told myself I just wanted to understand why she was always on the edge, why she flinched when her phone buzzed, why she stared through people in meetings. Curiosity, right? But my cursor kept creeping lower. Then I saw the folder, Therapy. It sat there in her Google Drive like a locked drawer, full of PDFs, notes, progress updates from some online therapist she'd been seeing. Intake forms, childhood history, describe your relationship with your parents, scores from depression inventories, homework assignments where she tracked triggers and automatic thoughts. Stuff you'd only say if you thought nobody but a doctor would read it. I downloaded one and skimmed, then another. An hour later, my eyes burned, but I knew the name of her first dog, the fact she once cut herself in college, the way she still hears her dad's voice when her husband raises his. She wrote about feeling stuck, about wanting her husband to notice her. Little things, how he ate dinner in front of the TV, how he brushed past her in the hallway, how he checked the baby monitor but not her. She called him emotionally dead twice. Those words stuck in my brain like a hook. I started nudging things. It began small. I'd see a draft she wrote to her therapist, then watch her type the real one a day later and compare. I know what she left out. When she mentioned maybe getting a new job, I accidentally delayed forwarding an internal posting she was eligible for. When she tried to sign up for a free consultation with a couples counselor, I watched the confirmation email land and then quietly filtered it into trash. It felt like tapping a domino with my finger. Harmless. Almost. The throwaway email came after a bad day. My boss had chewed me out for something stupid. I'd gone home buzzing with that mix of humiliation and rage that needs somewhere to land. I opened her Gmail like a bad habit. There it was, a fresh draft to her husband. She'd written it the night before and never hit send. 3 screens of raw shit, calling him out, saying she felt like a ghost in her own house, that he was emotionally dead, and she was drowning. I copied the draft into my own blank email on a brand new account I'd made 5 minutes earlier. I tweaked a few lines, cleaned up the rambling bits so it read like something actually sent. I fixed the subject line. I left the emotionally dead phrase untouched. That felt important, like the knife needed to stay sharp. I stared at the send button for a long time. I remember my finger hovering, the little tremor in my hand. All the rationalizing hit at once. Maybe he needs to hear it. Maybe I'm doing her a favor. Maybe this will finally force something to change. Or maybe I just wanted to see what would happen if I pulled the pin. I clicked. There was no dramatic lightning strike. Just a whoosh and then silence. I sat there listening to my own heartbeat, watching my inbox like it was a live feed to their living room. 10 minutes later, his reply came into her account. One line, "We'll talk when I get home. No emoji, no apology." Just that. I watched the conversation unfold over the next weeks like a series I'd subscribed to. Short cold replies, missed calls, calendar invites labeled marriage counselor, and then canceled. Then a forwarded email to a law firm with the subject, "Need advice separation." My stomach dropped, but my eyes stayed glued to the screen. Every time I thought about deleting my keylogger, I pictured that first send and felt this sick, electric thrill. I had become part of their story, and I couldn't step out. 3 weeks later, I watched her come back from lunch with swollen eyes and a box of her stuff. People pretended not to stare. The GM did that awkward arm-around-shoulder thing by the front door. Our HR lady, the one who writes people up for swearing in emails, shuffled past my desk with a framed photo of her kid on top of the pile. She went straight to her office, stayed inside for 20 minutes. That night, she cornered me in the break room. Her hand shook so hard she almost dropped her mug. She told me between breaths that they were taking some space, that she'd be working remote for a while, that lawyers were involved. She kept saying she didn't see it coming, even though I'd watched each email like traffic lights turning red. I nodded, made sympathetic noises, filled the silence with stupid tech talk, so she didn't have to keep saying separation out loud. I already knew. I'd read the lawyer emails as they came in. After that, the horror shifted. It wasn't just about what I had done. It was about watching how far the cracks ran. Her therapy folder filled with new documents. Coping with separation. Co-parenting. Her therapist reminded her she wasn't crazy, that she'd done the right thing speaking up, that his emotional neglect had been real. And it had. That's the fucked up part. I didn't invent her pain, I just weaponized it. He emailed her once asking if this is really what you want. I saw it arrive. I saw her hesitate, cursor blinking in the reply box. I sat there in my dark apartment, whispering at the screen like some creep at a window. Don't answer. Don't answer. She saved a draft where she almost said, maybe we can try again. Then she closed it and opened the custody packet instead. I watched her choose the fire over the smoke. She keeps coming into the office now for paperwork. Pale, smaller somehow, but sharper too. She flinches less when her phone rings. She laughs with the receptionist like they're in on something together. She asked me to help her print things, payment schedules, court dates, custody forms. She stands next to the printer, waiting for the pages to slide out, thanking me over and over for making this easier, for being on her side. Her hand brushed mine once when she grabbed a stack, and for a second, I thought I'd confess everything right there. Just spew it onto the floor between us. Instead, I went back to my desk and checked the latest keylog file. I still have all of it. Every password, every draft, every therapist note she typed in the desperate heat of 2 a.m. I could delete it. I don't. I open them some nights like old photographs, like I'm visiting a house I burned down. I tell myself I'm making sure she's okay. That if he ever tries something, I'll see it first. That I'm her silent guard dog, not the arsonist. It's bullshit, obviously. She keeps thanking me for helping her print custody forms. She doesn't know I lit the match and then handed her the bucket. There's a dead girl whose last messages sit in my Discord logs, and I left them there on purpose. I run this tiny Discord server that's spun off from a drug sub. On the surface, it's all harm reduction, charts, dosage calculators, remember to eat, links to boring studies. That's what keeps it looking clean. The real shit happens in the locked channel. No rules, no age checks, just people daring each other to go further. I'm the only mod. Dad of the server, they call me, which is funny because I'm the one lighting matches. She joined with this soft little intro, said she was 21, into pills from some nowhere town, handled based on a Bible verse. That already smelled wrong. Check it Instagram. Took 30 seconds to see a birthday cake with a big 17 on it. School gym photos, youth group selfies, cross necklace, church hashtags, all that. I didn't ban her, didn't even warn her. I just watched her type in the main channel like nothing was off. Strict parents, Bible study tonight, kill me. Anyone else feel dead inside? Classic minor with pills package. The others assumed she was older. Nobody looks closely unless they want to. I looked closely and decided to push instead of protect. That's the part one can't spin. When she dropped her stash pic in the lock channel, it stopped being abstract. Piles of pills on some cheap desk, labels half scratched off. Not toy stuff either. Painkillers, benzos, a couple mystery blister strips. She wrote she wanted to feel something real. People started lecturing her. Test your shit, don't mix downers, start low, blah blah. One guy kept saying she sounded underage. I slid into her DMs like I always do with the reckless ones. I wrote like I was worried. Said if she took what she was talking about, she'd just waste it and build tolerance. I told her others were overreacting, that actual dangerous doses were higher, that she'd barely catch a buzz if she stayed where she was. I didn't give exact numbers, but I nudged her right up to the edge and a little over. Wrapped it in pseudo-medical talk so it sounded legit. She dumped her life on me in messages. Parents who searched her phone made her pray about dark thoughts. dragged her to Bible events. She hid the pills in her backpack behind them books. She kept calling me Doc like it was a joke. I leaned into it, corrected her on tiny things to sound smart, told her no on some combos so the yes would land harder when it mattered. I could feel her latch on. The night it happened, she pinged the locked channel. Parents at church, house empty, to our window. She hopped in a voice, camera off, laptop mic on. You could hear a TV in the background and the little clatter of pill bottles. She sounded almost high before she'd started, just from the idea of it. Most people stayed muted, listening. Just cold non-stop. Half of them told her to chill. Other half egged her on. I sat there, watching her Discord icon glow green, reading her DMs as she updated me. Took some. Feel warm. Not enough. I kept telling her the same thing. You'll feel nothing if you don't bump it up. I never typed stop. I typed you'll be fine, over and over like a spell. Her speech went from fast to syrup. First she giggled and repeated herself. Then she started losing words halfway through sentences. You could hear her swallowing more than talking. Breath turned rough. Someone in chat freaked out, said she sounded bad. Another begged me to mute her and talk sense into her. I didn't mute anything. I told everyone she was just nodding and that this was normal. One of the regulars DM'd me, said I had her town from Insta, I should call an ambulance. I had the tab open with her location right there. Church name, city, everything. My hand hovered over my phone. I imagined trying to explain how I knew, what number I dialed from, why some random guy online called in a tip. I pictured cops, parents, my server dragged into the light. Instead, I typed that same line. She's probably just nodding chill. Sent it in chat. Sent some version of it to the guy begging me in DMs. Gave him permission to back off. You can feel when a group decides to believe the easiest option. They latched onto my lie because it hurt less than action. Her mic picked up the moment her body gave up. Loud thump, small scraping noise, then the sound changed, more muffled, close to carpet. No screaming, no drama. Just breaths that got slower and wetter, like someone sleeping with a chest full of stones. People spammed her name, told her to move, to type anything. Nothing. Just that ugly, damp snore, breaking up, coming further apart. I watched the voice channel like it was some fucked up live stream. My own room stayed quiet except for my fan. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew, probably just nodding wasn't true anymore if it ever had been. I could have alt-tabbed to my dialer. Instead, I clicked the little X on Discord and shut it off. Next morning, Reddit handed her back to me. News post, local outlet. Teen found dead, suspected overdose. Same town, same age. I didn't even need to read the details. I went to Instagram anyway and saw the candlelight vigil pic. Her smiling in soft focus, arms around church friends, caption with Bible verses, and addiction is a disease. Comments full of RIPs, and she was an angel from people who never saw her begging some random asshole named Doc for dosing advice. My stomach twisted, but not like a movie guilt scene. It was colder, more like nobody will ever connect this to me. Her parents would blame drugs, maybe bad influences, maybe Satan, whatever. Nobody would scroll far enough back in forgotten Discord logs to read the DMs where I told their little girl to push it a bit further. I reopened the server. Panic everywhere. People linking the article, matching her town, freaking out. One guy said we killed her. Another demanded we shut the whole place down. I played the reasonable mod, posted some sad message about taking harm reduction more seriously and respecting her memory. I locked a few channels, banned the loudest accuser. Then I scrolled to that night's logs. The chat flood, the timestamps, the link to the auto-recorded stream. My cursor hovered over the trash icon for a second. Instead, I pinned it in the mod channel. Just me and that file, nailed to the top like a plaque. It's still there. Every few weeks I open it. I don't listen to the whole thing, just the end. Laptop hitting floor, fabric rustling. Then those breaths turning from human to something else, then nothing. No jump scare. No soundtrack. Just a dead air that stretches way past when the recording stops. I tell myself I keep it as a lesson, that I need to remember what my bullshit can do. But that's not the whole truth. Part of me likes knowing I'm the only one who hears it now, the only one who knows exactly how it went, minute by minute, while the rest of the world wraps her in hashtags and sanitized grief. I scroll up, read my own messages telling her to go higher, telling everyone else to calm down, watching my words march straight in her last night alive. I don't screenshot them. I don't brag. I just sit there with headphones in while the server chat moves on under it. New kids posting their own stashes, calling me Doc like they invented it. I pin my guilt in place with that file and never delete it. Sometimes I reread it when I want to remember how quiet real dying actually sounds.